My name is Jennifer Jones, and I manage the Economics Career Office here at UVA. The Economics Career Office is in Monroe Hall within the Department of Economics. I graduated from UVA in 1999 and have worked in higher ed at Erasmus University in the Netherlands, Columbia University in New York City, and here at UVA for the last 20 years. It's wonderful to see you all. We have 12 guests here with us tonight. That is right, 12, who represent 8 different graduate programs. We're so lucky to have you all with us here. Thank you for joining us. So I'm going to start with our admissions staff and our faculty from the different schools and programs, and then I'll call on our graduate students. We hope to keep all replies to about a minute to a minute and a half in this first round. And then Chloe is going to ask the question that I say out loud. She's going to post it in the chat for all of our panelists. Okay, so here's my first question. I'm going to start with Anne from Batten School. Question, can you please share the school and program that you represent, your role within the program, and a skim of your background? So I'll repeat, the school and program you represent, your role within the program, and a skim of your background. Anne, would you start us off, please?
I'd be glad to. Thank you, Jen. So my name is Ann Carter-Mulligan. I'm the Director of Undergraduate Admissions at the Batten School of Leadership and Public Policy here at UVA. I've been in this role going on 3 years. Prior to that, I worked in enrollment management at Longwood University. I also worked for a decade at the Miller Center here at UVA. So at Batten, we have a Master of Public Policy. There are 2 routes into the program. I admit students into the accelerated route. That's University of Virginia students. It's an expedited process where you're beginning classes in your final undergrad year and you finish the MPP in just 1 additional year. My colleague Jeff Chittister recruits into our traditional 2-year postgraduate MPP. It's a blended cohort. The students all work together, but there are kind of 2 doorways into the program.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, great, same question. Christina, could you share the school and program you represent, your role within the program, and a skim of your background?
Sure. Thanks so much, Jen. Hi, everyone. Like she said, my name is Christina. I work at the McIntyre School of Commerce as an Associate Director of Graduate Recruitment. And so I represent the MS in Commerce program, which is our Master's in Management for non-business majors. And then also our MS in Accounting program, which particularly now has what we're calling the MSA Pathway program, which allows UVA students who maybe are not at McIntyre to be able to take the necessary prerequisites to pursue a master's in accounting. A little bit about my background. I am a UVA grad myself, actually a double who undergrad in the college and then master's at the School of Education. I've been in higher ed since graduating with my master's degree. I've been part of the College Advising Corps, was in undergraduate admissions for 3 years before coming over here to McIntyre, and now I've been at McIntyre for about 3 years as well. So happy to be here. Thanks so much.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, great. Let's move on to Raphael, please. Same question.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm representing the School of Data Science. We're a pretty new school, although the program, the master's program is a few years older. We're 2 years old. We just had our groundbreaking ceremony last Thursday for our building, which should be up in a couple of years. I'm the director of the residential master's degree program, which has been the main program of the school. It's a 1-year intensive program. We're expanding outward and developing undergraduate programs and a PhD program. My role within the schools, in addition to being the director, I'm an associate professor and I focus on text analytics and more generally on cultural analytics. My background is actually in cultural anthropology and digital humanities. I've been a digital humanist for a while and have had previous stints at Princeton University, where I spent 8 years, and Dickinson College in Pennsylvania. I'm also a double who. I got my undergraduate degree here in philosophy and my PhD as well.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you so much for sharing. Same question, John Kropko, please.
Hi everybody, I'm Jonathan Kropko. There's a noise right now, and that's I've got a little 3-month-old little dude here who's on his bottle. So if you hear that noise, it's him. He's a hungry little guy. So I am also faculty in the School of Data Science. I'm in my third year on the faculty of SDS. Prior to that, I was several years in the politics department here at UVA. And my specialty was econometrics. So, you know, my training in political science was mostly in methods. And, you know, as econ majors, you know how big of a role econometrics plays in everything else you do. The more applied statistics I was taking on, the more econometric modeling I was trying to develop, the more I realized no amount of correcting standard errors, no amount of bootstrap magic is going to save you if your data is not right. The data pipeline is essential, right? And when I was looking for ways to find better data to study politics, everything led me to data science. And it became a natural home for me. It's absolutely exciting to be in this brand new school and watching the field develop at such an early stage. I could tell you a bit about what it's like to do data science from a social scientific perspective, if any of you are interested. It's good to see all of you.
Thank you so much. Jonathan and Raphael, you all just had your groundbreaking ceremony last week, didn't you?
Correct.
Yeah, that's going to be a beautiful new building right down from the tennis courts.
Yes.
Exciting. Okay. Great time to be in the School of Data Science. So let's move on to Tracy. Tracy, can you tell us a little bit about the program you represent, your role within the program, and a skim of your background, please?
Thanks, Jen. So my name is Tracy Brookman. I am the Director of Academic Programs with the Public Health Program. So we mainly work with the MPH students and the MS in Clinical Research. Our MPH program has two different concentrations, health policy, law and ethics, and research and practice. And I can discuss those a little bit more in the breakout sessions. I've actually been with the public health program for about 13 years, I think. And before that, worked in admissions with the School of Architecture at UVA here.
Okay, great, thank you. So for any of our students who jumped on late, I did spend a minute mentioning how much we appreciate our panel being here during their own, personal time. We are definitely off hours for most people. And Jonathan, thank you for showing up with your wee one. It's the second time I've seen that over the last 2 years of Zoom calls. And it really, I know it could be difficult, but it does add something very nice to our programs. Little look into your life. All right, so let's move on to our graduate students. So grad students, I have combine two questions here for you, okay? Because I want to get through, I want you to be able to share a little bit and you will go into more detail in your breakout sessions. But here's my question for you, and I'll start off with Alex. Share your grad program name and school, your undergraduate background, so your major or minor, internship or work experience, why you chose to attend the program that you are attending. You can share with us your next steps if you know what they are. So I'm going to repeat that again, because that was a lot.
I think we're good.
No, you're good? You're good to go?
Okay, let's give it a try.
Go
okay,
ahead.
so my name is Alex. I graduated from UVA in 2019 as a double major in econ and stats. During my time at UVA, I worked as a research assistant and then also teaching assistant in the econ department. And then after graduation, I joined McKinsey's Mexico City office. I was there for 2 years. And now I just started in August at Yale. I'm getting my MBA here. And then I'm going to go back to McKinsey for 2-3 more years. And then after that, we'll see. I'm very interested in impact consulting, in impact investing, sorry. So one of the reasons why I chose Yale MBA is because it's a weird hybrid between just your regular business focused MBA, but then it's also like looking at the social aspect. So sort of like an MPP. So that's why I thought it would be like a good fit for me.
Great. Thank you so much, Alex. All right, Caitlin, let's move this over to a PhD conversation, please.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Detta. I graduated from UVA in 2019. I majored in econ and minored in English. And then I worked for the Federal Reserve Board of Governors in DC for 2 years. And then I also just started my econ PhD here at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. So I chose Madison because it was a really good school that I got into and I was very excited about. And most of your PhD, you do a lot of research. And so there are people here doing research that I'm interested in. And my main areas of interest for now are kind of government policy and economics. In terms of my next steps, this program is like 5 to 6 years long. So I will figure that out.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. All right, Harrison.
Yeah, so I'm Harrison. I'm down at UT Austin doing my master's in economics on a 10-month track. So I'm going to be done here in spring 22. I graduated from UVA last May and with the class of 2021, double major in math and econ. And yeah, this program, I chose this program because it's pretty quick. I'll be done in a year. All of my coursework is pretty condensed and fast, but it covers all of the main core areas and it should be a good time. I've enjoyed it. And I guess after this, I'm going to go into industry most likely, work for a few years, and then I'll entertain the idea of doing a PhD later on. That's pretty much it.
Harrison, any idea what industry you're interested in entering?
Well, whoever will hire me at this point.
Okay, thank you. All right. Great, let's move on to Zuha, please.
Hey everyone, my name is Zuha and I graduated with the class of 2021. I majored in econ with a concentration in finance. I am currently a first year grad student at Columbia University in their master's in QMSS program. So QMSS, it's a long and kind of title, but it's essentially, it's quantitative methods in the social sciences. So it's essentially like research. So I chose this program because one, it's really flexible. They have like 5 different focuses. I can talk more about this in the breakout rooms, but they have an economics focus. And so they have like a lot of emphasis on like it's a good mix between like data analysis and econ. So I thought that would be a good fit for me in terms of my like professional goals. So I want to be working as a research assistant at like an international bank, hopefully. I'll probably figure that out like in the following semester.
Thank you, Zuha. Dan?
Hey everyone, I'm Dan Nakasone. I was an econ major here at UVA, just graduated last year. While my time in undergrad, I worked as an econ TA with Professors Kopic and Elsing. I actually see some of my former students in here, so shout out to you guys coming out. During undergrad, I worked 2 summers at the FBI interning there, and then my 3rd year recruited for Boston Consulting Group, where I'll be going full-time after I finish. I'm doing my master's in public policy, so I did the accelerated program like Anne was talking about. So last year was half undergrad, half grad school, and this is my last year of grad school. I chose that just because I've been really interested in national security, public policy stuff, and Baton was a great fit. Plus, it was just kind of nice having the option to do a master's in just 1 more year. So just kind of a quick overview of me.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Timur.
Hey everybody, I'm Timur. I actually did almost the opposite thing of what Alexander did because I did my undergrad at Yale in econ, then spent a few years in consulting, and then came here to the Masters of Data Science program. So yeah, basically a little bit about my background. Some of the previous work I'd done in consulting was like mostly with government clients. Just kind of got more and more into analytics work. And decided that this was a really, really great program. I think it's one of the only 2 or 3 actual schools of data science, and they put a ton of just a ton of effort into like every individual student. So it's been a great experience so far.
Okay, great. Thank you, Timur. And Jessica.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica Myers. I am currently a Baton Master of Public Policy candidate here at UVA. Woo. So I was accelerated. So I graduated this past May. I studied economics and women and gender studies. And the combination of those two fields, I was really interested in thinking about social policy and how I can sort of meld questions of equity with research methods and data analysis and econometric methods. So that's what led me to Batten, and here I am. I'm interested in impact evaluation and focusing on quantitative and qualitative methods. And I'm hard at work on my thesis. So that's a great thing about the Batten MPP program, is it gives you an opportunity to blend those really, really succinctly. As for internship and work experience, not to just plug all futures of Batten, but there's a required internship that's really great. So I actually did 2 internships this past summer. Both were with federal government agencies. One was actually with the Postal Service, so everyone should buy stamps. But it was a really great opportunity and allowed me to apply a lot of the skills I'm learning in Batten, like data analysis and policy writing, in a really, really eloquent way. And so that was a great opportunity. What's next? I hope I get employed. I will get employed. So I'm just waiting to hear back from jobs, but I'm interested in doing public service work. So definitely interested in continuing looking at federal government programs, but like a lot of folks on the panel, sort of that intersection of thinking about public service with qualitative analysis methods. So yeah, we'll see where that takes me. I'm really excited to be here. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you so much, Jessica. Wonderful. You will all be employed, and you all have outstanding academic backgrounds, wonderful team of people behind you, right, who are interested in helping you succeed. And you have your undergraduate programs behind you too, where you obviously succeeded. Let's get more.
Hey everyone, my name is Umar. I'm currently a master's student at McIntyre, pursuing my MS in Commerce with a focus in business analytics. I was a recent graduate of UVA, graduating in the spring with a degree in economics and a minor in social entrepreneurship. A lot of my past internship experience has been more so finance focused with investment banking and market research. But I decided to take the extra year to sort of shift my focus into a more consulting type role. And full-time, I will be joining KPMG in Northern Virginia as a strategy associate. So would be glad to talk to you all about sort of the differences there with a, the shift from a liberal arts education to McIntyre, as well as the recruitment process as well.
Okay, great. Thank you so much to all of our graduate students. Student attendees, you're getting lots of tips too about classes to take, possible internship opportunities. So keep those in mind also. Okay, great. We're going to go to our second round of questions. And in this second round, we're going to circle back to the admissions faculty and staff to ask a question about particular questions about your programs. And you are welcome to continue this conversation in the breakout rooms. So we'll go back the same way we went before, starting with Anne, asking you to share some prereqs for talk about your academic program, the requirements for applying, the curriculum, deadlines, and typical careers after graduation. So Anne, why don't you start us off, please?
All right, no small feat. How many minutes do I have? 2.
You have 90 seconds.
Okay, here we go. So just to lay the groundwork, the Master of Public Policy broadly, we're trying to equip you with the skills, quantitative, analytical, leadership, essentially to solve public policy problems, ultimately either funneling you towards direct public service in the government or nonprofits or the private sector, wherever you land. It's a full-time 2-year program, regardless of whether you're Excel or post-grad, 49 credits. It is interdisciplinary, it's applied, it's very collaborative, it's very experiential. The focus is certainly on real world. As Jesse noted, there's a required summer internship between the 2 years. There's also an applied policy project. That's the culminating project where you're working as a consultant with a client to solve a real world issue. On the post-grad side, there are no prerequisites. You simply must obtain your bachelor's degree prior to the start of the program. Econ is obviously a great discipline to come from because of the quantitative emphasis of the program. On the Excel side, you apply at the end of the winter break in your 3rd year. So many of you are in that sweet spot now. The prerequisite courses are microeconomics and calculus. You have to hit 90 credits prior to starting the program. That's simply to ensure you can graduate on time with your undergrad degree, finish all those requirements, and smush grad school into that truncated, expedited year. What have I hit? Not hit. The curricula: behavioral economics, social psychology, leadership courses, research methods and data analysis, politics, policy analysis, any policy area you want to study. Deadlines. Postgrad apps are open now. So if you are going to graduate this spring, you can apply either by our November 15th deadline, our January 5th deadline, or our third deadline, which is March 25th. The accelerated program, I mentioned that deadline is at the end of winter break. That's January 21st to begin coursework in the following fall. And then typical careers, it really runs the gamut. Policy analyst, surely all levels of government, private sector, federal consulting, service organizations, postgraduate fellowships. Policy is really everywhere. So students bring a lot to the table in terms of their own interests and skills, and that really translates to lots of different careers, which I'd be glad to discuss in further detail in our breakout room.
Ding, ding, ding. Amazing. Thank you very much. All right. Let's move to Christina.
Okay, let's see if I can do this. So the MS in Commerce program, as I mentioned earlier, is a master's in management for non-business majors. So folks like yourself, we see a lot of econ majors in the MS in Commerce program. Students attend the program typically after completing their undergraduate degree. So everyone is recent graduates. We actually have an 18-month window of eligibility and to ensure that everyone does stay in that recent grad mode. So most students don't have any full-time work experience, et cetera. Prerequisites. So we have 3 prerequisites for the MS in Commerce: introduction to microeconomics, statistics, and financial accounting. Those are to serve as the foundation. That's the only coursework anybody has in common. Other than that, everyone in the class is coming from different majors and backgrounds. Our application is also currently open right now. Our first of 6, we have 6 deadlines. We've got some flexibility here for students in terms of when they would like to apply to start in the fall. The first deadline is coming up here on November 1st, and then we'll pick up again in January. We have about a deadline a month through June. And so that allows students to apply when their application reflects their best self. It also allows students, if they learn about us in March, to still have some time to decide if this is something that they want to do. In terms of curriculum, so our goal is to get you to be able to understand business and how it works and how to become an innovative problem solver, right? Building off of your undergraduate curriculum and then kind of giving you this business lens. So in the fall semester, our students do what we call the integrated core here at McIntyre, or ICE for short. So I'm sure you might have heard some of your friends throw that around. And this is how McIntyre teaches business. So this gives you that strong foundation in business and knowing how all the different pieces work. In the spring semester, our students will actually focus in a particular area of business, so either business analytics, finance, or marketing and management. The program concludes with what we call the Global Immersion Experience, or GIE, which is actually a three-week trip abroad, where students are actually getting hands-on experience, meeting with folks at different companies, et cetera. So it is a 10-month program, all of that together in there. Typical careers, similar to what Anne said with Batten, we do kind of see all sorts of different things, right? Because I would say that business can also be used and be seen in many different lights. And so, yes, we have students go into consulting, finance, you name a business sector, but we've also seen students take this skill set into other areas. So whether that's government or healthcare or, nonprofit work, et cetera, it does really it opens up a lot of different opportunities for students. So I never say there's like one path from the MS in Commerce. I think there are a lot of things. The MS pathways for accounting, I can talk about that in the breakout room because that's another like mini ramble and I won't go into that, but that's the MS in Com in a nutshell. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you so much. Anne and Christina, thanks to both of you. We are okay with time. So, thank you. So Raphael, why don't you take us into a little deeper into the School of Data Science programs?
Right. Okay. So Yeah, so we have a master's program that we've been teaching for a little while, but let me just back up and just give you a quick sort of definition, although it's kind of hard to define data science. It really is a hybrid discipline or multidiscipline that involves a synthesis of computer science, statistics, visualization, communication skills, and always applied to a real domain, anything from medicine to finance to education to the humanities. And we typically focus our efforts on building some tangible data product, a classifier, dashboard, database, something that drives value in whatever organization you're doing, working in. And we think of the span of organizations that we target, everything from science, pure research in science, to really decision-driven practices like in business. So what we have is an 11-month program. It's a hothouse, takes 11 months, begins in the summer, and students graduate in the spring and they walk the lawn. And there's also an online version of the program that takes 5 terms that has a rolling admission. So to get into the program, we're very open to different backgrounds. In fact, we want to cultivate, we encourage a diversity of backgrounds, not just STEM. Of course, STEM is good. Get your prerequisites in there, but we get people from history and other humanities fields. But to get into the program, you really have to have these 4 prerequisites: at least a course in statistics, single variable calculus, linear algebra, that is to say matrix algebra, and a computer programming course or experience. We don't advise, if you're coming in, I don't think any of you fit into this category, but if you're coming in and you really don't have any of these prerequisites, or you're missing more than say 2, we don't really advise that, because it's a lot to learn fresh on your mind coming into this program. So the curriculum itself is divided into little tracks. We have an analytics track that takes you from linear models and statistics all the way through deep learning. Some of the latest approaches to deep learning. We do classical machine learning, we do Bayesian machine learning. We are one of the only programs in the country that requires our students to take an ethics course, which we take very seriously. We also have a couple of computer science / programming courses. And we have something that we call practice and application of data science, which is understanding the entire practice as a whole and as an integration of all the parts. And we envision this as a pipeline of work. And part of that is also a capstone experience that actually begins at the beginning, or it begins in the fall semester. And students work in teams with an actual project with a real client to produce a real result. And that also ends up in a published paper that is published in the IEEE volume. We have for the spring, for the residential, we have applications due on January 6th. I don't know off the top of my head the application schedule for the online, but it's on our website, datascience.virginia.edu. With respect to the jobs people get, as you can imagine, data science is a kind of a chameleon discipline. So if you're into genomics, you'll get a job in that space. If you're doing fintech, you'll get a job in that space. We have students who've gotten jobs with the Green Bay Packers doing sports analytics. We have, there's a student who's, at the med school with Columbia. We have Facebook. It's pretty much all over the place, because anywhere there are data and people needing to extract value from data, typically they're going to need a data scientist in among the mix of people. So it's pretty broad. And I'll leave it at that. We can go into some details in the breakout room.
Okay, great. Thank you, Raphael. All right, Tracy, could you tell us a little bit more about your program, please?
Sure. So the MPH program is a 42 credit professional program. We have, as I mentioned before, 2 concentrations: health policy, law and ethics, and research and practice. Health policy, law and ethics is more qualitative, research and practice more quantitative. And our students, we do have a 4+1 program for 3rd year students that they can apply to the program by June 1 after their 3rd year. It allows them to take 9 credits of our graduate level courses during their 4th year and then apply to our MPH program for their 5th. We also have availability for students if they're thinking about pre-med or pre-law, something like that. They can do our program in 1 calendar year. So the 42 credits can be done in a fall, a spring, and a summer. You can either front load or back load that summer session. And we have an applied practice that is required for our students. It's kind of like an internship. That's where they go out and work for about 200 hours in a public health field. We also have an integrative learning experience, and that is the final master's thesis that they do. They work with one of our faculty members and maybe work with a physician in the hospital to come up with a research project and work on that. And that takes about a year, 2 semesters to kind of work on that. Students normally start that during their second semester. Our deadline is March 1 of 2022 for the fall of 2022 entry. And you would apply through sophas.org. That's SOPHAS.org. It's a centralized application system for schools of public health. As far as jobs go for students when they get out, we have plenty of students that will go on for dual degrees, either in medicine, law, PhDs. We'll also have students that go into health department work, some that'll go into consulting. And I think that's, health policy analysts for nonprofit organizations. That's mainly what our students will do.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you all.